Hello, my name is Alex. This is my presentation on why I believe podcasting is a great tool for music promotion. In this presentation, I'm going to explain why I think podcasting is an effective tool. Music promotion has evolved from radio and television to now digital platforms. Radio and television aren't as much popular anymore. It's more about streaming services for both music and TV shows and movies. Like you don't watch, not many people watch, not as many people watch cable as Netflix now. And podcasting has become a game changer for artists, labels, and music lovers over the past 5 years specifically, because since 2020, podcasts have a huge upward trend in popularity. Podcast is a really good way to expand your audience reach. On the left, I have a graph of radio listeners versus the people that listen to audio sources on mobile devices. It's a graph from 2014 to 2020. That's the most recent one I could find. The top gray bar is AM/FM listeners versus the blue bar, which is people that listen to music or whatever on their mobile device. And on the right, I have a graph of podcast listeners in 2025 just on Spotify. And just on Spotify, they have millions of listeners worldwide. And music-focused podcasts attract dedicated fans looking for new artists and genres because most artists aren't going to have people looking for them on podcasts that aren't, real fans of music. Podcasts are on demand, allowing listeners to discover music at their own convenience, which is very nice. On radio, you just have a bunch of random songs playing, and usually they're the same 5 songs over and over and over again. In an article by SciTech, they report as of 2025, the amount of podcast listeners will be 114.7 million. And I believe that number is going to continue to grow over time because it looks that way. You can get a lot of engagement from podcasting. Many podcasts cater to specific genres of music. Like the podcast No Jumper is specifically generally like hip hop artists go on there. And there's podcasts for more old time music or country music. Like they just have specific genres that they podcast about, and listeners trust the podcast hosts and their recommendations, leading to more engagement. So if you are a, say, hip hop artist and you go on to No Jumper, the listeners of that podcast are going to be more likely to engage with your content because they trust the host and they like his recommendations. Artists reach the right audience instead of relying on broad and impersonal platforms, which is really nice because on the radio it's just a bunch of meshed songs together, and sometimes people will just be skipping through the radio and you're not sure if they want to hear that. And the picture I have are a bunch of different podcasts for music, like some of the most relevant ones that are specifically for music, and different artists go on there to promote themselves. Podcasting allows you to storytell and build a deeper connection with your audience. You get to share stories, your creative processes, and inspirations on podcasts because usually they're an hour to 2 hours long, the episodes. And say you get on one and you can just go on there, tell the listeners and the host your story, talk about how you create your music and what inspires you to create your music. Fans get to develop a deeper connection with the music interviews and behind the scenes talk. Real music fans like to see all the behind the scenes stuff and nerdy stuff. And artists like Billie Eilish, The Weeknd, and even Ozzy Osbourne have used podcasts to connect with their audience. Ozzy Osbourne uh, brings his whole family on to his podcast and just talks about different experiences he's had in his life. This is the picture I have is of Ozzy Osbourne during his podcast. With podcasting, you get the benefit of cost-effective promotion. If you're a music maker, you already have a lot of the equipment that you will need to make a podcast of your own if that's what you wanted to do. You need a microphone, probably an audio interface, a computer, and all that good stuff. And unlike traditional marketing, podcast allows for an affordable way to promote your music. Independent artists can appear on relevant podcasts without the help of a major label backing them. The power of social media allows you to just DM the podcast host, and if they're cool, they'll probably talk to you back and get another, or that'll give them another episode for their podcast, give them more content, gets you engagement. It's a win-win for everybody. And I'm not sure exactly how much it costs to go on to someone else's podcast, or if you have to pay for that, or if it just depends. But I do have a friend that is also an artist who is going on a podcast pretty soon to promote his up-and-coming show. So I will have to ask him about that. Sponsorships and collaborations with podcast hosts can drive music exposure organically, because all the people that are going to be coming from a podcast to listen to your music are going to be real people. They're not going to be bots, obviously. So it's just a good way to organically generate streams and engagement. On the picture I have on the right is a picture of all the necessities and extra things you could possibly want or need to start a podcast of your own. Future trends of podcasting includes AI-powered discovery. AI is enhancing podcast discovery by recommending specific genres or artists to listeners based on what you're already listening to, based on what you're already interested in. Everything, all AI is doing that now with Netflix and TikTok with For You pages and all that kind of stuff. It's all recommending specific stuff that it knows you like, and so it's doing the same thing with podcasting for music and artists. And branded podcasts. Brands are now following the podcast trend, providing platforms for artists to feature their music. All sorts of brands. You'll probably have to have a little bit of a name for yourself to be an artist and get a brand to allow you to feature yourself on their podcast. But if you do, it would be a good avenue to create engagement. This has been a presentation why I feel that podcasting is a powerful tool for music promotion due to its reach of millions globally, storytelling potential, and cost effectiveness. Musicians should use podcasts to their advantage and build relationships with fans and create a good community, because community is a very big thing that you need to build your artist career. And the fans love when you talk to them and engage with them. That's just a better way to keep your relevancy. The future of music marketing seems to be digital, and podcasting, I think, plays a key role in shaping it. This is my works cited page. Here you can find all of the sources where I used information for this presentation.